Trump gave a speech last night, and most of the media has been focusing on the one moment where he said, you know, maybe I'm going to have to run again, or words to that effect. But there were some other parts of his speech that are really worth paying attention to. There's a great, Mark Sumner wrote a great summary of this over at dailycoz.com. Mark is just such a brilliant writer. I have so much respect for this guy. And Trump, you know, he lays out that Trump came out and basically said, okay, I've got a solution to the homeless problem in America. Let's just round them all up and put them in concentration camps outside the cities, and so our cities will be beautiful again. He talked about, you know, places where you can buy lots of land for cheap. Right, let's put them in the Mojave Desert. I mean, you know, talk about a stupid idea that it was not thought through. That is just brutal. I mean, yeah, let's do like Hitler did. Let's start concentration camps. You'll recall the concentration camps that Hitler started, you know, places like Dachau, were not death camps. The death camps came later. The concentration camps started in 34 and 35. The death camps didn't come until the 40s. And the concentration camps were where they put, quote, undesirable people, the enemies of the state. The homeless, the mentally ill, gays, socialists, Marxists, anybody who defied Hitler, basically they went to the concentration camps. And Trump is saying, oh yeah, we should do that with homeless people, number one. I mean, this is bizarre. Number two, he said that we need to, he wants to crank up our criminal justice system and have, quote, very short trials, end quote. Now, we all know Trump has never read the Constitution, and so he's obviously never read the 6th, 7th, and 8th Amendments to the Constitution, which talk about, and the 5th, which talk about due process. The 6th, I believe, is the right to a speedy trial and a jury of your peers. And, you know, Trump has basically ignorant about this. You know, this is the guy who lived, according to his wife who recently died, who you know, spent his married life with a copy of a book, The Collected Speeches of Adolf Hitler, on the bed next to him. And now he wants to do what China's doing. He says, we need very short trials. And then he praised executing you know, drug users like Duterte did in the Philippines. In the Philippines, Duterte authorized the police to simply shoot to kill anybody using drugs. Over 12,000 Filipinos were executed by the police. No judge, no jury, no arrest, no due process. They were just executed. And Trump is calling for the same thing now here in the United States. This is you know, he wants police on every corner. I mean, he wants to turn America into China or into the Philippines, into an absolute police state. And in the midst of this, not a word about his followers killing 5 people on January 6th and you know, and trying to kill the Vice President and Speaker of the House of the United States. In fact, he said, and I quote, we may just have to do it again. Really? He said, send the homeless to, quote, large parcels of inexpensive land. He said these camps could be created in one day. He also called for a return to stop and frisk policies, basically harass black and brown people, and said the idea of taking away a liability shield from the police, he's opposed to. He wants the police to be absolutely unaccountable. If they kill black people, fine, no problem. This is, he said, their liability, he said, he opposed the idea of removing from police, quote, their liability shield in any way, shape, or form, to prevent police, end quote, to prevent police from facing any consequences when they execute people on the streets. He said, where there is a true breakdown of law, in fact, he wants to bring the military out to enforce our laws. He wouldn't do it on January 6th, of course, but he said, without a trace of irony, he said, where there is a true breakdown of law and order, the federal government should send the National Guard to restore order and secure peace without having to wait for the approval of some governor who thinks it's politically incorrect to call them in. Right. It's all about, as Mark Sumner writes, it's all about authoritarianism and brutality. This is what Donald Trump is selling. And tragically, it's what as many as a third of Americans are buying. This is dangerous, dangerous stuff.